and welcome to Nights of Eveningstar with me, Twig.
I'm dead. No, he's dead. Oh, there we go. Back to normal.
Come on, man.
Way to start off, Mark.
Welcome to Nights of Eveningstar, everybody. D&D live stream here on the D&D channel. I'm your Dungeon Master, Mark SherlockHulmes. Welcome back. And joining me are my wonderful friends, as always. We have we have Mica Burton, Anna Prosser, Nate Sharp, and Jonathan Indovino, aka ShadyPenguinn. Welcome, my friends. It's good to see you all. How have you all been? I know there's been a lot of Pokemon going on before we got started. So let's Pokemon down.
Our systems.
What?
I wasn't
going to
bring it up if you didn't bring it up, Mark.
What are you talking about? What?
Look, the great thing is being obsessed with the online trading card game when all your friends are obsessed with the physical cards. So they dump all of their trash codes on you and you just have all the delicious cards. It's great.
Amazing stuff. Amazing stuff. But yeah, how have you guys all been? Good?
Yeah,
Right?
been
Good.
well. It was a week. It went by.
It
Did
happened.
its thing.
The U.S.
Another
inaugurates
one.
a new president tomorrow.
I was
Big
going to
news.
say that's it's a whole new day tomorrow, a new start, right? Like
1 year anniversary for the first U.S. case of COVID. Congrats, everybody.
So true. So much
Wow.
happening right now. Just
Wow.
so much.
It's a big week for us.
It is.
well, you know what's a great fix for all of that is escaping to a fantasy world of
Please.
Dungeons and Dragons.
Can I not leave? Can I stay there?
One thing I actually, if you will permit me a brief moment to mention that, don't forget there was a brand new book announced from D&D last week. Candlekeep Mysteries. It's a brand new book coming out March 16th. I completely forgot to write any notes to myself about doing a professional kind of we're on the D&D channel. A new D&D book is coming out, but the main reason I bring it up is I wrote an adventure in it. So I'm very excited about that. And I am just very chuffed. I'm like, yay me. So if you will permit me a brief moment just to say, please buy Candlekeep
Buy the book.
Mysteries. Yeah. please
Buy
please
it
check
now.
it out.
Buy it.
Yeah. And hopefully I kind of don't want to tell you guys too much about it, and I kind of want to encourage you guys not to read it, because I think that my adventure in it would be a very good little one shot for Nights of Eveningstar.
Okay.
Actually, I think it would be a very, very fun little one shot, I think, based on the themes and the content. Yeah, I think so. So
Also, I would
maybe
just
we'll get
like
to check it out.
to say thank you to the people who are saying in chat that they came here and are going to watch Narrative Telephone later. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank
That
you
is
for
very
tuning in live,
appreciated.
everybody. I know I'm in two
Yes.
places at once right now, but I appreciate you coming to the live one.
It's always a VOD, there's a VOD somewhere. And
There's a
it's
VOD
nice that you
somewhere.
made the choice to come and watch this and then watch the other thing later.
Yes.
But if you do watch the other thing later and you're watching, if you watch the other thing live and you're watching this
Right.
later, we still appreciate
We
it.
still
So
love
thank-
you.
we
I
still love
appreciate
you.
both of you either way. Just
Yeah.
sending out love.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, are folks ready? Do folks have dice? Are folks ready to play some D&D?
Our dice
as we
Pokemon
continue? Our dice Pokemon cards.
cards.
They
Is
have some
mayonnaise
difficulty
an
with those.
instrument?
Look, I love Pokemon cards. And I think you will agree with this though, Mika. I love dice more.
It's true. I buy them every
Ooh.
week. I have a
All right, it's been
problem.
real. See you.
Nate's out. He's
Nate
done.
quit.
Cool. Well, I will give you a very brief recap on what happened last week, and then we will get to playing. Last time on Nights of Eveningstar, you all have traveled basically in aid of Marcel. You have traveled to a ruined village called Red Spring, which has been devastated, the land corrupted, transformed into a kind of swamp-like mire that seems to have killed off much of the natural life here. And after defeating a band of mercenaries with your own forces of Eveningstar, your own military units, you have descended down into a mysterious tunnel. Bypassing some sort of riddle and some sort of construct guardian, you made your way deep down into the earth. The worked stone becoming narrow and claustrophobic, encapsulated in darkness, conjuring up images of traveling down some great beast's throat, deeper into it. And you have arrived in a very alien, very unnerving, unnatural looking place. Some sort of structure where the walls are almost organic, organ-like, with strange devices and places and construction tubes and passages and doors that are very organic and muscular in nature. And inside, you have found even more unsettling natures. Strange Cormyrean villages that have been drained of their very essence and left as kind of shambling undead-like figures and traps laid before you. After a unfortunate incident involving a fiery teleportation and some poison gas that had been leaked into the room, the party is currently suffering with some injuries and some losses. The explosion having wiped out Tarkhal's companion Twig, as well as causing injury to the party. The villagers themselves now seemingly lifeless once more. And a terrible explosion that echoed throughout the entire complex. And we left you guys in this kind of strange room where there are signs of habitation. There are tables, bowls, utensils, tools, and strange kind of rooms above in the ceiling connected by tubes. And that is where we left things off last week. There is a sealed door that has not shifted through the explosion, that you have not fully opened or explored yet. And then there was another exit from this room that did get kind of blown open by the force of the explosion, and seems to lead into another smaller chamber connected to this one. I think the last thing we did is you guys had investigated the rooms up above and found a strange metal tube containing a circlet, like a very pretty elven-made circlet to be worn upon the brow. And that is where we left things off last time.
Didn't Azara put it on?
I yoinked it. Yeah, I
yoinked it. Yeah, I don't think you'd put it on. You said you'd taken it.
I just yoinked it.
And it hasn't been identified or anything like that.
It's been slipped betwixt the robes somewhere.
Betwixt something.
Betwixt something.
Betwixt
Wink.
But yeah, and that is where we left things off. And I now, my dearest players, my dear friends, I hand it over to you. What would you like to do?
You said this door is like completely untouched, like not even all of the fire has scorched it whatsoever.
So there's the two doors. One has been blown open and connects to some sort of side chamber. This other one, there's definitely scorch marks. Like it took the brunt. It was scorched by the fire of the explosive, the gas and everything else. But it hasn't been forced open. It just seems to be shut as it was previously. And you don't really see a way to open it. Maybe you could try and physically force it open. But it is kind of like a collected muscle. Like some sort of sphincter.
Must you?
I mean, that's what it is.
When you say
I can't.
like gross.
Well, listen, I know what I'm saying. So, so what's the plan, team? You are deep in this complex. There is definitely more to it. You have seen no sign of any kind of intelligent or sentient life so far.
Agnes will be like, "Where's Twig?"
Tarkhal will just look. You're joking, right?
No.
He died in the explosion.
What? No.
Marcel, what's the play here?
Agnes is just like
just
frozen.
Completely, yeah.
We continue forward.
Tarkhal just nods and just waits to follow Marcel.
Okay.
Shoulder dislocated, covered in blood. We keep going.
Like a true action hero. I love it. It's like John McClane, his feet covered in blood and glass, and he's just like, "Let's go, Harley." Just keeps on trucking.
Before we go anywhere, I'm going to cast a quick cure wounds at the first level on Marcel.
Okay, sure.
Which is one.
So I was going to say, do you want to kind of? We've had some healing from Azara before, but this is kind of a new process for Azara. What does this look like? What are the vibes going on in Azara as she casts this? Because you are channeling divine magic this time, so it's different.
Usually with Azara's magic, it's like crackling and angry and lightning when it comes from her sorcery. But her clerical magic is more like a gentle breeze. Like if a color was associated with it, it would be like a light blue. It's very contrast to who Azara usually is. So I'm sure that if it manifests in some way, it's kind of off-putting since everybody's seen her sorcery casting before. And Azara would take great care when casting Cure Wounds, kind of tuning into this new clerical energy, since she's not used to divinity per se.
Does Azara like pray, or like do you speak anything, or is this just like a kind of sending forth a feeling kind of thing?
She kind of will mutter under her breath a little bit. It's very, very subtle. And on her new character art, she has a symbol to her goddess carved into her like waist sensor. So she kind of holds a hand to herself, connecting with her goddess every time she casts clerical magic.
She hasn't explained this to us before, right?
No, this hasn't been brought up at all. So she just kind of quietly.
I think the main thing would be that during the 2 months, because we did have that period of 2 months where you guys were, the town was being finished rebuilding and things like that, Azara probably would have been like going off, and you probably would have seen her a bit more quiet and contemplative, imagine, like in prayer and study, maybe visiting this shrine that's being kind of excavated outside of the fort. But Marcel specifically, as this kind of magic, kind of breezes over you, it's like a cooling wind. It's like a refreshing breeze. There's a briskness to it, but it's not unpleasantly cold. And there is you can almost faintly, very, very faintly hear almost like an elven woman singing. But it's very, very faint, very delicate. This kind of choral sound kind of washes over you.
You also got 6 hit points back.
I like process this like singing, this cool like breeze in my soul. I feel how much it's healed me. I'm like, kind of a bit flashy for that much, isn't it?
Azara just won't say anything.
You're welcome.
She'll just go,
Well, thank you nonetheless.
Lead on.
Here I go.
So
Agnis will fall back and ask Azara what the circlet is.
As of right now, I'm not quite sure, but I plan on taking it home and identifying it. Hopefully it could be useful.
Well, it could be useful now.
But say I put it on and it curses me.
Well, I Arcana check it.
Oh, can we do that?
You can certainly make an Arcana check. Arcana check is not detect magic, but I might tell you something depending on what you roll.
I too will Arcana check it.
I got a 13.
13.
I got an 11.
Okay. Looking at this circlet, you can, I will say, you can't identify any runes or sigils. You can't identify any sort of inscriptions that might hint at some sort of magical purpose. But there is a gemstone. There's like a pale, probably red gemstone set into the circle. And there's a warmth to it, an unnatural warmth, like a magical warmth to the circlet.
I think it's probably fine.
I'll tentatively put it on. And before it settles, I'll turn and say, if I get cursed, I'm coming for you first. And then I'll put it on.
Well, let me just check something here. Okay. Yeah, you don't need to be attuned to this. Okay. So when you place it on Azara, you do become aware. I think it still needs to be identified. There is definitely some sort of magical. This circlet has a magical power. However, I think no, it doesn't have a command word. So no. This is a circlet of blasting. So while wearing the circlet, you can use an action to cast the Scorching Ray spell with it. When you make the spell's attacks, you do so with an attack bonus of +5, and then the circlet cannot be used again until the next dawn. So it's basically a once per day Scorching Ray, but it has a fixed attack bonus of +5.
Agnes is very jealous because she used to have Scorching Ray until Tasha took it away from her.
Hold on.
Maybe she can have it again.
I was going to say, Azara will realize that this is a firepower and will take it off. Say, now, Lady Crownsilver, I know that fire is your forte. Sometimes fire can get you into a little bit of trouble. But I think this will be better left in your hands if you promise to be careful.
Agnes will kind of look at it and then look over at Tarkhal and be like, maybe it's better that you hang on to it.
I think that you are well within your power. What are you, 4 flames, 5 flames, 6 flames?
This is a 5.
5 flames. I think a 5-flame druid is perfectly capable of handling such equipment as this. And plus, red isn't my color. And she hands it over.
Agnes nods at that, like that she understands.
Yeah.
She puts it on.
Meanwhile, Marcel, you said you were going to kind of move forward. What do you want to do? Where's Marcel heading at this point, or like what are you leaning towards?
There's an open butthole door, right?
There is, yeah, the one that was blown open. Yeah.
Cool. I'm gonna walk through the blown butthole.
Okay. So it's very tall. You don't have to crouch or anything. These doors are almost oval shaped, much like the rooms and the chambers themselves. This one connects. It's almost just like not a corridor. It's almost just like a short connection to another egg-shaped room. This one houses almost like a kind of shelf where there were once, you can see broken jars of some sort of resin or ceramic. There appear to be like this dried, thick, viscous material that's been spilled on the shelf, but it's been dried for a long time. Maybe some tools, very odd looking surgical tools. Again, kind of not dusty, but maybe look a little bit decrepit. But most importantly, there is a like angled slide-like tunnel that seems to go further down, and you can see some sort of faint glowing purple light coming from that direction. It's maybe like a kind of 10-15 foot drop, but it's at an angle. The passage is fairly smooth, so you would need to try and keep your balance if you didn't want to just whoosh the whole way down.
Does it seem like something a sword could slide down on its own?
Yes, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, if you drop the sword, it would just whoosh down on its own for sure.
Cool. I take out my sword and I'm just like, all right, have fun. And tell me what you see. I'll just, wee!
And then he's just like, brother, ping, 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 ping. The sword kind of clatters as it slides down this thing, and then disappears into this kind of chamber below. The angle of the tunnel is just enough that you can't see the room it actually leads into. You wait for a few moments, and then telepathically you get a message back. Just it's difficult. I can only sense a little bit around me, brother, but there's a mist. There seem to be some alcoves set into the wall with some sort of glass or resin over them. Very odd. I've not seen anything like this. I think there may be something moving at the far end of the room, but I can't see far enough. I'm sorry.
So that's good insight.
Okay.
Then I'll weapon bond and then just reappears.
Yeah, kind of reforms back in your hand.
Just like wipe off if there's anything on it.
Oh.
There is not anything on the sword itself. There is more. Yeah, there wouldn't be anything on the sword itself.
Oh, okay. Well, that was plenty of information. Thank you.
Yes, sorry I couldn't see more, brother. A very odd place. Even in all my books, I've never read anything like it. I've never seen structures like this.
Well, I'll convey what he saw to everyone else.
Okay.
Have we seen him do that with his sword before?
I think you've used weapon.
Yeah,
one
I feel
before,
like I've
haven't
seen
you?
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, have we established that your sword can see things?
No.
No.
We don't know that he can talk to his sword either.
No,
Tarkhal
Marcel
does.
basically just tells you there's a tunnel leading down, and he just
Yeah.
describes it as if it's from his point of view, I would imagine.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. I think Tarkhal does know that the sword is sentient. Yeah.
So do we take that tunnel or do we try to break open this door?
Can I go examine the door? Investigate it?
Yeah, yeah. As Tarkhal turns and asks the question, Agnis, you move your way over. Like I said, this one, unlike the other doors, which had this organic muscle structure that kind of sealed and shut, like some sort of valve, this one actually has metal coverings, and it's almost like a spiral of metal lattice, like an iris, and it's kind of all wrapped around and sealed shut.
And there's no mechanisms I can see or writing or anything?
I don't see one, no. You don't see a mechanism or a lever or a handle or anything like that. It does look like, somebody quite strong might be able to grip it and physically rotate the metal rings to open it up. But, yeah. Make a perception check, actually, while you're examining this door. You're the closest. You're the one who moves up closest to it. Good.
Except when I roll a 1, so I got a 9.
That's a shame. 9. I think just there's still a bit of ringing in your ears. Maybe not even from the explosion, but from just the emotional adrenaline of everything that's been happening. Your head's all over the place, thinking about what Tarkhal said about Twig, and you're too caught up in your own head to notice anything.
It was metal, a metal door.
Yes, yeah, it's metal.
Does it look like if it were to be hit with lightning, something would malfunction and it would open?
Like I said, all you can see right now is this kind of organic material of the walls and then this metal plating. You don't see any mechanisms or cogs, at least on this side. They could be on the other side of it, though.
I want to walk up to the door and touch it with shocking grasp.
Okay. The lightning kind of crackles out and expands out. Doesn't seem to have any sort of effect on it. No, doesn't seem to cause any sort of malfunction or anything like that. It looks almost like, this is like some sort of sealed metal thing. But it looks very manual, that it's open and closed.
Gotcha.
Agnis would know this about her fire, so I'm assuming that create bonfire would not get hot enough to melt metal.
No, okay. It would need to be, maybe over a very, very long period of time, you would be able to damage it, but we're talking like days, probably. Yeah. Like a blacksmith's forge is hours of, intense heat.
By the way, I want to correct myself. I said that Scorching Ray was taken away. I actually have Scorching Ray. So now I have 2 Scorching Rays.
It's a free Scorching Ray.
Yeah.
No spell slots. Cool.
Yeah.
What's the plan? Tarkhal, anything you want to do, or Marcel, or anyone else?
I know I'm not. Actually, I'm pretty strong. I think I'm just going to go up to the door and try to turn it. But can I also cast Mage Hand to give myself an extra 10 pounds of turning power in the direction that I choose?
You can certainly try it. Yeah. The Mage Hand in this case, you make a roll. We'll add a +2 bonus for the Mage Hand. I don't want to give you advantage because that's actually going to be quite a big advantage from this little 10-pound Mage Hand. But I think it does give you a little bit of extra kind of pull to have the, if it was a human, if it was like, Marcel helping you, that would be advantage because it's the help action. But the Mage Hand, I think, maybe just gives you an ever so slight twist of a bonus.
Agnis offers to help you.
I won't stop you from grabbing a door. Just don't set it on fire.
Agnis is silent and tries to help.
Okay, yeah, so that's the help action, so you have advantage.
So
when you both start on this, so you roll, this is just a raw strength check, Tarkhal, so just with plus, it's...
with my strength
make it
modifier.
athletics. Yeah, make it athletics. Yeah, athletics, but roll it with advantage.
Okay, I'll roll over.
As you are pulling on the door, though, as you make the roll, both you and Agnis notice this is way more secured than it should be. Like, the metal shouldn't be this hard to move. It's like it's heavier, or it's something is making this harder to open somehow.
Okay. My second roll was a 14 total.
14 total. Both of you struggle and like exert yourselves for minutes, and you can't even get this thing to budge. Like it's just.
After I'm assuming there's an awkward silence of the two of them helping out, Azara will just kind of quietly say, you know, Tarkhal, on the bright side, Twig being a Fey creature will have reappeared in the Feywild, so there is still hope. And we'll just kind of like look at the floor and like shuffle awkwardly.
Marcel, yeah, maybe we'll take the tunnel.
If you think about it, it's really more just like, you know, an inconvenience for Twig and us.
Yes, I hear dying is quite inconvenient.
Well, I mean, but, you know, not dying, more like being transported from one place to another.
In a fiery death, yes. I'm sure it was just slightly inconvenient. Marcel, should we take the tunnel? I can't. Do you want to try to open this door? I can't get it to budge.
We will take the tunnel.
Marcel gives it like a tug and is like, yeah, I'm not moving that. All right, let's move on. Cool. All right. So you guys make your way in, and yeah, who's going to go down? This tunnel is quite narrow, so it's only about 5 foot wide. So this is single file. We're going to have to go down. So I'm going to need an order of who's going down first. And unless you wish to just let yourself slide, it's an acrobatics check to try and descend it carefully. And again, if you want to move stealthily, that's a stealth check as well, et cetera, et cetera.
We should probably go the same order we were. We were Marcel, Tarkhal, Agnis, Azara.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to take that acrobatics check.
Same?
Same.
Okay. So Marcel's going first. So Marcel, if you can make the acrobatics and then decide, tell me if you're going to try and stealth as well.
16 on the acrobatics.
That's enough. Yeah, you just kind of very gently, you kind of have to keep one of your hands on the side touching this organic kind of corrugated, almost like fleshy material, like kind of gripping onto it for a hand goal, but you manage to keep your balance as you move down.
All right, and I'll try to stealth.
Okay, sure.
Nat 20.
Nice, yeah. Silently, just with a practiced move of somebody used to doing clandestine mercenary work, you make your way down without any issue. The tunnel is about kind of 15 feet along. So Marcel, you'll reach the end of it. Is Tarkhal following directly behind him, or are you going to give him like a little bit of time to make his way down? Or
no, I mean probably like once I see he's 5 feet in the tunnel, I'll go behind him.
Yeah, so you're like literally right behind him. Cool. So acrobatics and then stealth for me as well. And then the next person would be. Yeah.
Acrobatics was a 9 total.
9. So here's what happens. Marcel is about 10 feet down. He's making his way, keeping his hand on the side of things. Tarkhal, you go to step in. As you are moving, just in, whether it's in the night or whether you're distracted or whether it's Marcel's like something, you know, something. It's up to you what. It doesn't have to be your fault. Like maybe the ground gives way. Maybe this kind of like flooring, this chalky resin breaks away. You slip and you begin sliding. Marcel, give me a dex saving throw as Tarkhal basically comes sliding behind you and is going to basically either knock you over or you're going to get out the way and he's going to go first.
10.
The two of you in a pile. Tarkhal knocks into you, knocks your feet out from under you, and the two of you tangled up together go sliding down this tunnel and land into the room beyond. And just to complete it, Agnis was the last one in the tunnel. Do you want to give me that acrobatics and stealth check as well, Agnis?
Twins with my brother. I got a 9.
So the same thing happens there. The three of you go sliding down this tunnel, all landing one another.
I like to imagine that Tarkhal and Marcel like tumbled together, and then like as soon as the dust settled, Agnis just on top.
Yeah, and on top of them, yeah.
Do
and
I
then
have to
Azara just watches it. No, because it was only 15 feet, so by the time one was in,
I'm just standing there
Tarkhal
watching
was there,
them
and then you literally watch Agnis go flying down, because as soon as they land in the room, and this is why you're not going to have to roll it yet, Azara, you guys, the three of you land in this chamber. It's like a long corridor, maybe about sort of 10, 15 foot wide. On either side of the tunnel, you see set into the wall these cavities, these alcoves, but covering them is this glassy resin that's see-through. And inside, there's maybe about 8 of them in total, but inside each one, you see shapes. The first 4 you see are filled with this kind of goop-like liquid, viscous and thick, and kind of pressed up against this resin. You see these rotten, half-decomposed, fleshy alien creatures, big bulbous heads and craniums and tentacles coming down from their mouths, all kind of split open. Parts of them have been rotted away and been decomposing. Their hands, parts of their bones and skeletal structure showing through as they're pressed, their kind of goopy faces squished up against the glass. At the end of this corridor, though, there are moving shapes. These ones are not alien. They bear a striking resemblance to the villages you saw in the chamber above. These humanoids with these black vein-like patterns all over their flesh. These 2 kind of zombie-like shuffling things turn, and that's going to be initiative.
Oh, sorry, guys.
Oh, I mean, you can join them in a second.
I'll be there in a minute.
Okay, Azara, initiative. Hello?
I'm sorry?
Initiative, Azara?
Oh.
Yeah, roll initiative.
Sorry, I thought I wasn't part of it.
Yeah, no, you will be.
Zoned out. 8.
Because you'll be part of it. 8. Marcel?
8.
Oh, buddies.
Tarkhal?
13.
13. And Agnis?
19.
19.
I'm assuming it's so low because as of now, everyone's on top of me.
Sure, you can have that. Yeah, you're at the bottom of the pile.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm getting delayed information, so, you know.
The other thing in this room, by the way, is there is a very low mist that kind of covers the kind of first foot of the floor of this chamber, this kind of thick purpley mist. Agnis, you are prone. All 3 of you that fell into the chamber, you will start prone. So it's half movement to stand up. There is about 40 feet to these creatures, 45 feet to these creatures. They are at the far end of the corridor. The corridor itself, by the way, at the very far end, it splits off to the right, and about halfway down, it splits off to the left. And then you've got these alcoves with these alien corpses in them, these pods on either side of you. What would you like to do, Agnis?
We established last time for certain that there is like nothing to be done for these villagers, right?
I leave that. I let Agnis decide whether or not she thinks that anything can be done. They blew up. They were attacked. You tried to heal one. Didn't seem to work.
She also doesn't really feel like using fire is probably like super appropriate right now because Tarkhal keeps glaring at her. So she's going to cast Entangle underneath the shamblers.
Okay, sure. Go for it. So what do I need to do? Is that a saving throw on my end?
It is a strength 16 save.
Okay, first one is a natural 1, fails. The second one is a total of 11. So this brambles and plant growth created by magic quickly kind of begins growing up and kind of locks these guys in place because it restrains them, correct?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it doesn't do any damage to them or anything. But then the ground in the area is difficult terrain in a 20-foot square.
20-foot square. Okay, so basically, 10 feet in front of them, 10 feet behind them, at the far end of this corridor. So yeah, about 40 feet away from you, these 2 are locked in place. They're like struggling against these vines, as you can see. Anything else on your turn, Agnis?
That would be my action, so I can't summon my fire spirit, right?
If it is an action to summon the fire spirit, then it is, unfortunately.
I'm going to double check. Yes.
Okay, cool. And just reading up on Entangle, a creature restrained by the plants can use its action to make a strength check against your spell save to try and break free.
Yeah.
And then it's trapped. Okay, well, there you go. And they literally just try and do that. They're both going to use their action to try and break themselves free and come rushing towards you. The first one is a failure. The second one is also a failure. So they're just struggling and straining against these vines as they attempt to break free. Tarkhal.
I'm going to stand up
Okay.
And then I'm going to. So there's 2 entangled and 2 not, right?
There's just 2. There's just 2 of these creatures, and they are both entangled about 40 feet away from you at the far end of this corridor.
Then I'm just going to kunai throw my Kiss of Silver. Just
kunai throw.
Sure.
Hit DC +8.
They are restrained. They are restrained, so you have advantage on them, I believe.
Okay. I think would I get advantage anyway because of
No, because they acted first, so that you
they already acted.
Yeah, they had their turn, so you.
So this isn't even going to be sneaky attack.
Well, it is because they're restrained. You have advantage against them, and because you have advantage, you get sneak attack. Yeah,
sick. Okay, I rolled a 24 total.
Agnis, yeah, did some work for Tarkhal there in a way. 24 is easily a hit against one of these creatures. They are stationary. They do not appear to be very difficult to hit. They don't try and dodge too much. Yeah.
And 28 total damage. Good roll.
Dang.
So these ones, the ones that you fought before had clearly been injured by the explosion. These ones, the Kiss of Silver strikes it in the chest, and it kind of stumbles for a second. And then as the Kiss of Silver turns to that mist and reforms in your hand, it's still standing.
Okay.
Anything else? So you've got 15 feet of movement, I believe, left.
Yeah, I think I'll just like move over away from Marcel a little bit, give him like 10 feet of space.
Yeah, so you kind of move up a little bit into the side. Cool. To give him some space.
And can I use my bonus action to hide in the mist, like crouch?
You would need to be laying down. Like, it's like maybe a foot of mist. It's like, right up at your, like, kind of, knees, basically. So if you dropped flat, you could try, but you would obviously be prone.
Like Haunted Horn Maze Mist.
Yeah.
Question above board. When you're prone, do you have disadvantage on ranged attacks?
I think, let me check, because it's been a while since
someone tried to lay down on a butthole room and throw a dagger.
The creature has disadvantage on attack rolls. Any ranged attacks against you have disadvantage though. So if like people trying to shoot you with bows and you're prone, they're actually at disadvantage. Melee attacks have advantage. So you would be at disadvantage on your attack.
I'm just gonna hide in the mist. I'm gonna lay down.
Okay, all right, sure. Give me a stealth check. So you drop to the floor.
I rolled a crit.
You are
32.
Yeah, these things have no idea where you went. You kind of throw the knife and then you just kind of drop into a roll and just vanish.
Tarkhal's been swallowed by the mist.
He's dead.
He's nowhere to be found.
I'm right here.
Azara, at the top, you hear the sounds of magic spells being cast, the whoosh of a dagger in the air, but you have no idea what's happening.
It's my turn now.
Yes.
I would like to carefully kind of like slalom down the...
okay, acrobatics.
Acrobatics, okay.
Mm-hmm. Try and keep your balance.
That is a 12.
12 is just enough.
Yes.
It wasn't very hard. The 2 9s I was surprised at. But yeah, you kind of have to tiptoe. It does cost extra movement to kind of do it, to go down slowly. So by the time you reach the bottom, you don't have any movement left. You're kind of stood next to Azara, Agnis, and Marcel. But you managed to get to the end without slipping. And yeah, you can see these 2 creatures are locked in place by these vines at the far end of the corridor.
Cool. Well, that's great because all I have is range stuff. I'm going to... Oh, I have to touch for that, don't I? Yeah. All right, then I'm going to Witch's Bolt it. I'm going to Witch's Bolt it at the 2nd level.
Okay. Do you want to go for the one that seems to have this gaping wound in its chest, or do you want to go for the unharmed one?
Let's go for the gaping one. Hate that phrase.
It's not nice. It's a good word for describing certain things. It's a terrible word for other things.
Yes. That's going to be 14 plus 7 to hit.
Oh, yeah. This thing is easy. You would have had advantage on that roll as well, by the way. If you roll to see if you get a crit.
For shits and gigs. That's 15 plus 7, so I'm guessing I hit.
Easily hits.
Cool. So 2d12. That's a 12. That's 12. That's 17 plus 2 for lightning. Plus, yes, I could be wrong. I'm so sorry.
Sounds right.
Yes.
Okay. So 19 total.
19 total.
The bolt slams into its chest. You see the lightning kind of convulse through its body. It kind of just grunts, but yeah, remains standing after the bolt hits it. Oh, sorry, this was against the injured one, wasn't it?
Yes.
Sorry.
This was against the gaping one.
So that one, I need to make a check and see if it dies.
Through the bottom.
Also, it was +3 lightning. I just checked my notes. So
+3, so it would have been 20.
20 points.
Okay. So plus that. So as the lightning bolt hits it, you see it kind of blast a hole in this villager's chest. Normally, would you expect the creature to drop? However, by some sort of dark magic, it remains on its feet just barely.
Okay. Does it feel like it should be dead and it's still on its feet?
Yeah. You feel like that should have killed it.
That should have killed it.
If it has a beating heart, that would have blown its heart out, but it is not. It doesn't have a chest anymore. But it's somehow still, this hole has left it standing and sentient.
Cool. You love to see it.
Cool. Anything else?
That's it.
Okay. Marcel.
So they're still restrained?
They are. Yes, they are both still restrained currently.
So they would have disadvantage on dex saves?
I believe so.
All right.
Restrained. Let's check it out. Restrained has disadvantage on dexterity saving throws. You are correct.
Cool. I'm gonna huck an ice knife at the not as dead one. So, and that's advantage, right?
It is advantage, yeah, because they're both restrained. So you have an advantage on all attack rolls, spell or weapon.
That is 19 to hit.
Easily hits.
So the damage is one.
Yep.
And then it explodes.
Then the ice knife. So this shard of ice just kind of digs into its flesh and then erupts around it. So this is dex saving throw, yeah, on both of them?
Yep.
Right. The first one's a natural 1, so I'm just going to roll the next one because I can't get lower than that. Cool. The next one is also a natural 1. I rolled 2 natural 1s.
Dang.
Sweet.
So I'm just going to say they both fail.
Sweet. That is 24 cold damage.
24 cold damage to both of them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm going to try and see if I don't think they can technically make this. So the one that Azara's blown the hole in the chest in, as these shrapnel of ice just erupts out from it, it tears the remaining body to shreds, and this time it does collapse and no longer seems to be living. The other one that you did hit and then it kind of exploded out from, is still standing, but is very heavily injured as well. Anything else, Marcel? You still have 15 feet of movement if you'd like to move, or a bonus action?
No, I'm going to stay put.
Okay, sure. I just need to make some rolls here behind the scenes. Don't mind me.
I mind.
Okay. Agnes, your turn.
Agnes will be like, they're restrained. You don't need to kill them.
I thought you restrained them to make them easier to kill.
They're people. Kind of, I think. And Agnes will use her action to summon her. No, she won't. She's not going to do anything. She's feeling real unsure of herself. She's just going to like...
gets paralyzed by,
yeah, she kind of like, you know, when you're like, I'm going to, should I? And then your turn's over. That was my
whole day today, Anna, honestly. That was my last 24 hours. So I do know that very well. Yeah, you kind of just feel yourself overwhelmed by like everything that's happened. You can't help but see the kind of explosion and the look on Tarkhal's face, and like all of this stuff is just flooding your memory, and you just blink, and before you know it, things are happening around you. You maintained concentration on the spell though, so the restraining is still there. I'll make a check. Still doesn't manage to break free of these entangling vines that have got it kind of trapped and bound. Marcel, well, I'll tell Nate again when he comes back. But Agnes, Marcel, you guys do begin to hear heavy armored footsteps.
Oh shit!
Coming from the corridor on the right that's behind the two creatures. You can hear like sounds of like somebody in armor moving.
Coming toward us.
Yes, Marcel, you and Agnis have both heard the sounds of something in armor making its way in the direction of the tunnel that turns off to the right behind these creatures.
Did I hear that before my turn was over or after?
It's pretty much all like at the same time. So yeah, I'd say probably at the end of your turn, probably.
Because if she heard that during her turn, I would say that snapped her out of it and she summoned her wildfire spirit as her action.
Okay. All right. We'll say you can summon your fire spirit then.
Then Candor appears in a whoosh.
Yeah. Cool. And then the creatures try and break free, and then we go to Tarkhal.
I am just going.
Oh, you're muted, Shady.
I clicked it twice like a dummy.
You're muted.
Oh, you're muted again.
I don't know what's happening.
You're good
He's
now.
auto-muting every time. That's really weird.
Don't touch anything.
I'm not touching anything. Okay, so I would like to just stand up and toss my kiss of silver towards the one that remains.
Okay, sure. So you kind of pop up and then throw it like whoosh.
Yeah, I'm gonna click D&D Beyond, so if I mute, it's not my fault. Okay, I'm good.
You have advantage, don't forget as well.
Nice. I rolled a 19, which is 27, and then a 14. So 27 to hit.
It easily hits, yeah. 100%.
And then 23 damage.
23 damage, bam. Again, I don't think it's Undead Fortitude can save it from this. Came close, but no. So the Kiss of Silver this time kind of catches it in the throat, and this one goes stumbling back. You know, the blast of the ice shrapnel that's kind of torn its ligaments apart. The Kiss of Silver finally kind of deals this finishing blow, and it staggers back, leaving the corridor empty. But yeah, you do begin to hear the sounds of something moving towards the end of that corridor. What would you guys like to do? Real quick.
Oh, I hear it too now.
Yeah, so I think that by the time that attack finishes, Tarkhal, and it will start on Azara's turn effectively, we'll take you out of initiative, but just keep in mind that, like, try and keep what you're doing limited to, like, a move and an action kind of thing. Azara, like, yeah, you can all now hear, like, the sounds of something coming in your direction.
I'm going to immediately summon an elemental spirit if I hear something coming.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to summon... Let's do an earth spirit. We haven't done that yet. Like a cool draconic earth golem.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Sorry, I'm just going to convert your initiatives over to another encounter.
No, you Gucci. I'm casting that at the 4th level.
Sure. So we see this thing kind of spring up, kind of get formed in the corridor. Where do you want to summon it? Is it like, do you summon it in a certain place or?
Probably. Where do I hear the footsteps coming from?
So imagine you're in like a long corridor, right? It's maybe a sort of 60-foot corridor. You, Marcel, and Agnis are at the very far end where you've come down the slide.
Right.
Tarkhal is about 10 feet in front of you. And then at the far end of this corridor, at 60 feet away from you currently, it turns off to your right-hand side, and it's coming from there.
Then a little bit in front of Tarkhal, just in case it needs to, like, take a hit for him if, like, something big and crazy comes down.
It's the first thing in the way.
It's the first thing in the way.
Okay. Cool.
And I have all of his stats up.
Okay, great. Perfect. That's really helpful. And then Marcel, is there anything you want to do? We'll kind of stay in initiative for now.
No one looks to be like retreating at this sound.
None of us, right?
Good.
I'm not.
Yeah, I'm just gonna get ready for whatever it is.
Yeah, sure. So is there anything you want to do?
Yeah, I'll just prepare a. No, I won't, because I don't have that spell slot. Oh, I don't have that spell slot either.
Ooh.
I'm going to do a whole lot of waiting.
Well, I will say you can always, don't forget one thing a lot of people forget about the dodge action, which is you can basically just prepare yourself defensively, and it means you have attacks against you of disadvantage for that turn.
Cool.
But it's your whole action to do it. It's like, if all you're doing is focusing on being defensive, you can take the dodge action, and then that way you're kind of preparing yourself to defend yourself kind of thing. Sweet.
Since I can't do anything else, then that sounds good.
Cool. All right. And then Agnis, anything you want to do on your turn? These footsteps are coming closer.
No, I mean, same kind of as last turn. Until there's some obvious enemy other than the restrained villager zombies, she'll just be at the ready.
Okay. Nice. So do you want to take the dodge action as well?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
I'd like to do something.
I'm afraid it is not quite your turn yet, Tarkhal. There are some things that are happening before you. I've moved you to a new initiative, a new combat. So you hear, Agnis and Marcel would probably be the best ones to hear this, coming from the same direction that these armored footsteps, which are very loud now. You hear the faint kind of chanting of spellcasting, too distant to really identify what or by whom. But you definitely hear kind of like kind of, you know, material vocal components of a spell. And then emerging around the corner at the far end of this corridor, it is slowed down by these thick, heavy vines, but it doesn't seem to be that bothered. In fact, no, it isn't. It is hovering about sort of 5-10 feet off the ground over the vines, is a suit of full plate armor. It houses no one. It is literally on its own, but there is some... like Hadley Cooper's armor, Marcel, you would recognize this. The armor is covered in these glowing sigils. Unlike Hadley's, this armor moves completely on its own, and it has these kind of glowing specks of magic in its visor and in the kind of gaps between its, you know, where a person would be. You can see this kind of like coursing, lightning, pulsing energy that's kind of flowing between its joints. It hovers, floating over the vines, and then lands, and then, yeah, basically moves about another 10 feet down the corridor towards the Earth Spirit. It carries a shield and a sword in either hand, both of which are also glowing with these same runes.
Alphonse, no!
This is very much evil Alphonse.
Are there any other footsteps that we would have heard, like the spellcasters who were chanting?
Well, you definitely, you didn't hear anything. It was only because this thing's made of metal that it was...
Right.
You haven't heard anything else. Marcel and Agnis do, because their passive perception's quite high. So they're those two do. Very, very distant behind the sound of it all. This thing turns around the corner. It doesn't manage to get in range of anything with its move. So it will basically raise its shield and go defensive as well, taking the dodge action. Tarkhal, now it is your turn, as you see this thing at the far end of this creepy corridor with all of these, you know, alien pods with these kind of dissected alien corpses floating.
I will, I guess, step like in front of the elemental so that I can throw my Kiss of Silver and try to nail this thing on its armory little head. You
have disadvantage on the attack roll as it is defending itself.
Okay. First one is 23 total, and the second one is a 6 + 8, so 14 total.
It just blocks it with a shield, kind of blocking the strike. The knife reforms in your hand, but yeah, it's almost like it was waiting for something to attack it and just...
Okay. Then I'm going to use my bonus action to try to hide.
Sure. Do you want to try and hide in the mist on the floor again, or?
Yeah, I want to like... How wide is the corridor that he's in? Or
that this 15 thing is in? Feet wide. So it's about 15 feet wide. The Earth Elemental Spirit is in the middle, and then you've got like, you know, bits on either side. The alcoves are set into the wall, and they have this kind of glassy resin. So you can't really get behind them. The only thing that strikes you is if you didn't want to hide on the ground, you could try breaking the glass and then trying to hide in one of these liquid-filled pods. But you would need to break the glass to do it.
And that would be an action to break the glass?
Probably, yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm going to try to just like, I want to hide on the ground, but I want to tuck myself towards the wall.
Sure. So you kind of drop and roll
on the side. Yeah.
Yeah,
like a barrel
roll. Sure. Give me a stealth check.
That is a 9 + 12, 21.
Okay. Keep a note of that. Keep a note of that 21. Cool. Azara.
Yeah. Does my spirit go before me or after me?
So it goes after you. It takes its turn after your initiative, I believe.
Cool. We are going to start right out of the bat. We're going to try and banish this thing.
Okay.
So that's a charisma roll of 14.
14. You notice as you conjure the spell against it, the runes on it seem to glow and pulse, and the spell, it seems to have some element of protection against. It has advantage on the saving throw, and it passes. The banishment just kind of waves over it as it just almost buffets it away like a stone in the ocean deflects the waves itself, ripples around it.
Angie. Fine.
I promise one day it will work. I promise.
It better, cause man, oh man. Fine. Then it's Rock Boy's turn.
Sure.
And
You're still staying at the back of the corridor as well, right?
Yeah, I'm not going anywhere.
Sure.
Let's see. That is a 14 plus 8. 13, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22 to hit.
It does have disadvantage that the creature is currently defending itself. So, yeah, it took the dodge action. So
19.
Just misses. This thing parries the blow with its sword, like knocks it to the side. Yeah, it defending itself has definitely made it harder to hit. It's clearly adept at defending itself.
Okay. That's it.
But that is engaged it now. So the earth elemental and this thing are both in the middle of this corridor clashing against each other.
So that means that it's not dodging anymore, or?
Well, I mean, maybe, might not be.
Okay.
We'll see on its turn.
Well, yeah, that's it. That's all I can do. I failed.
Marcel.
So it's fighting the elemental right now?
Yes, this earth spirit. Yes, in the middle of the corridor.
Do I feel like if I were to try and get past it, it would try to take an attack of opportunity on me?
Watching this thing, the way it's defending itself, it's very clearly spatially aware. It's very clearly has a knowledge of combat and tactics. Yeah, it probably would try and strike at you if you tried to move past it. It would make an opportunity attack.
Can I run an idea by you?
Of course. I love ideas. They're my favorite.
I want to. So the walls are the walls still this weird butthole skin?
Stop.
Yeah, like in between the pods, yes. In between these kind of weird alien pods.
So could I start running towards it and basically just like spear throw the sword to like aim and like land in the wall next to his head and then try and use that to like sneak around the other side of him?
I would say you can try me an acrobatics or athletics. So you're basically, what you want to try and do is use your sword to kip up and like jump around this thing or like jump at an angle.
No,
like,
I want to chuck my sword at the wall on one side to get his attention looking that way.
To distract him. So
and then
like,
make a blind spot.
Sure, I get you. In that case, I think that would be a deception. I think you'd be trying to like almost feint him, right? You're like, hey, look at this thing. And then you slip to the side. Sure.
Yeah. Come on. Ooh, 18.
Okay. 18. Okay. You throw the sword, you go to run. So, because you don't know whether this thing's going to work, right? That's the gamble. You throw the sword, you make your dash. It does seem to register the sword. And for a moment, its like animated head begins turning. But then with its shield hand, it kind of reaches out and bashes you as it senses you moving past it. Almost like as soon as you get within a certain range of it, it just becomes immediately aware of where you are. And it's like, goes to strike you. So unfortunately, it beat the deception. It does make a strikeout at you. That's going to be 8 points of damage, basically, as it slams you into the wall. But you still get past it. It doesn't stop your movement.
Got it. Ow. Well, I run past it. Doesn't work. I get hit with the shield, but I'm not like knocked prone or anything. I can keep moving.
No, you can keep moving. Yeah, exactly. It's just an opportunity attack. So it just deals the damage and then you keep going.
All right. So I just keep running. Sword just
back into the hand. Yep. You reach the end of the corridor where it starts to become this viney, tangled mess. So it becomes difficult terrain. But you reach the end just as that stuff begins spreading out, right? So you don't have to worry about moving through it. You can just about see round the corner where this thing came from. And you see that it leads into a much, much larger chamber. It's dimly lit by these glowing magic orbs set into the ceiling. And it's quite a sight when you look into this larger chamber. In the very center, there appears to be a large broken glass dome that contains an enormous rotted dead brain. Metal rods are impaled through it, all with crystals and sigils all along them. And those rods are attached by thin metal chains to 2 tables on either side of the dome. One of the tables is empty. One of the tables has the kind of lifeless, black-veined body of a young man, like maybe a young Cormyrean man. Standing in the room with his hands raised, you see a young human mage in white robes with this big kind of golden collar that is broken down into not quite lightning bolts, but like these jagged geometric shapes. And this big kind of golden mask with a kind of broken sun on the temple. And immediately there are flashbacks of memories. You see a dark shadowed temple. Your brother is alive beside you on a table, unconscious, and you see various figures in these robes looming over both of you as you are both strapped down. And yeah, you can hear your brother, them kind of speaking in hushed tones. You recognize this is a scion of the Shattered Light. Not one you can't see his face, but you definitely recognize these robes. And he has got arms raised. And when he sees you, there is like, you can see him beginning to kind of, initiate some sort of spell.
And how far is he from where I'm at?
So he would be about 30 feet away from you now. So he's in this larger room, about 30 feet away from the corridor where you've been.
Cool. I'm going to Misty Step 30 feet right in front of him.
Okay, you whoosh in a flurry of magical power, you appear right in front of him. There is a momentary kind of like startlement, but yeah, apart from that, he seems to be fairly unfazed.
And that's all I can do.
That's all you can do. Agnis Crownsilver.
I am how far from the armor suit?
You are 60 feet, as you are right at the start of the initial corridor, I believe. I know that moved further in, so that came in about 15 feet. So it is 45 feet in front of you.
Oh. That changes my plan.
I'm sorry.
I'm going to shoot it with a longbow.
Okay. So you pull out a longbow?
Yeah, I'm trying to check the range of my wildfire spirit, though. Give me 1 second.
No
60
problem.
feet. Okay, great. So I'm going to shoot it with an arrow. And then my fire spirit is going to spit a little flame seed at it. 2!
Okay, go for it. Make an attack roll for me, please.
I don't usually use weapons. This is exciting.
You will have disadvantage. It's still technically benefiting from its dodge action, so because it's the start.
All right, well, we got 14. And we got 14. So it is a 14.
Yeah, it just deflects it away with a shield, parries the arrow out the air, or like raises it, and the arrow just bounces harmlessly off.
Well, at least we can roll for Candor. Candor rolls a 24 to hit.
Okay. And this is like the flame seed attack, like it kind of spits fire.
It'll do 1d6 plus 4 fire damage.
Roll the damage for me, because this actually, as it deflects the arrow, it doesn't have enough time to block the incoming flames.
I rolled a 1, so it does 5 fire damage.
5
and
fire
Candor
damage.
goes beep, beep.
The kind of flame scorches the armor. You see parts of it turn black, and it definitely seems to be affected by it.
That is a surprise to Agnis.
Yeah, it's like kind of momentarily sends it sprawling, like a kind of, shudders backwards from the flames, clearly impacted. Anything else, Agnis? Would you like to move or?
Yeah, I'll move closer.
Yeah? How far do you want to move up? This thing's about 45 feet away from you down the
I'm going to move to 20 feet.
Okay. All right. So you're 20 feet away from this battle between the spirit and things in the middle. Okay. Marcel. So now that as you teleported closer to this guy, by the way, you notice a couple of things. One, his skin is stone-like. There's this like stone-like covering all over his skin, rather than just normal flesh. And there's also almost these 3 like after images that are moving with him. So it looks like he's and judging by magic, he's clearly casted some spells on himself. You can see that he clearly has some sort of magical defenses. He will hum. What would he do in this situation?
Apologize and fix everything.
No.
Correct.
No.
Love that.
Hum a little tune.
He will raise his hand, and you knowing magic, the spell itself, he kind of spreads his hands in a cone-like shape, and a gout of flame erupts in a kind of rolling cone out from him. I need you to make a dexterity saving throw, please.
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20. You're going to take half damage as you do manage to kind of tuck and roll out the way of, or like at least kind of avoid some of this, maybe cutting it with your blade, kind of very cool anime style. He would be casting this at 4th level. So
That's rude.
1, 2, 3 extras. This is 66. That's going to be 15, so half down to 7 points of fire damage. As he just kind of holds out this hand, this flame roils over you, and you just hear him kind of speaking. I don't know who you are, but you have no idea who I'm dealing with. Whatever your purpose for this attack, it will be in vain. You will not stop our work. And then he will kind of ready himself to prepare for a kind of counterattack. That's his turn. The giant metal armor will begin an assault. It's going to attack the earth elemental spirit twice. So its first attack is 19 plus 6, 25 to hit.
That hits. That very much hits.
It's going to take 8 points of slashing damage. So as the sword carves across it.
Okay.
And then its second attack is going to be a total of 21 to hit.
That also hits.
It's another 8 points of slashing damage.
It's okay. This boy's kind of tanky.
Yeah, and he kind of it's just keeping itself in the middle and engaging this thing directly in front of it. But those of you who are watching, it definitely has a sense of like you can't move around this thing. Like it will know if you move around it, basically.
Right.
It's blocking the middle of the corridor. Tarkhal.
So how far am I from? I'm hidden. I rolled a 21 because you told me to remember.
Yes, you are currently hidden. You don't think it's sensed you. You are prone on the ground. So remember, it's half movement to stand back up. You are, I think, because you'd moved forward about 10, 15 feet from the start. So it's about 30 feet from you to the armor and the earth elemental spirit. And then the end of the corridor is about 45 feet away.
You're muted again.
You're muted again.
Sorry. I am going to stand up and I am going to use my bonus action. Hopefully this doesn't mute me when I open D&D Beyond. I can use my bonus action to dash. So I'm going to try to dash past it.
Yeah. Okay. So like with Tarkhal, this thing will try and swipe at you as you try and run past it because dash is just extra movement.
Yeah.
So it still gets the opportunity attack.
Yep.
That is going to be a 18 to hit you, Shady.
Okay, that'll hit. Also, I think that Tarkhal would do this anyway, but I just want to make sure. Would I have heard? Like, I would have seen Marcel run towards the end of the hall, right?
And then you see the misty step, like whoosh, he vanishes.
All right, then this is still definitely what Tarkhal would do. Okay,
okay, cool.
So that hits me.
So you run, you try and like move out of the way, kind of leaping to the side, but this thing catches you with the blade. 8 points of slashing damage as it catches you as you run past. But you still manage to get, just past it. And then with the rest of your movement, you can get to the end of the corridor, basically.
Can I use Uncanny Dodge on an opportunity attack?
I believe you can, but just remember, you only Uncanny Dodge is your reaction.
And I don't
get a reaction until the start of your next turn. Okay.
Okay. I will still take it.
Okay, so you half that. So 7 halved it. Well, it'd be 3 because you round down.
Yeah.
Oh no, it was 8, so four points of damage. Yeah.
Yep.
So you uncanny dodge. You kind of manage to avoid some of it, but it still scrapes you along. But you tuck and roll, and you manage to get to the very end of the corridor, and you see the same thing Marcel does. You see this weird chamber with the brain room. One other thing I forgot to mention for Marcel is scattered around this room with the big brain jar in the middle of it. There are sections of the floor, like round holes, that appear to just drop into a space below as well. There just seem to be drops down into a room below.
Oh, okay.
And then you see Marcel facing off against this robed man.
And Marcel's like right in front where I would not be able to toss my Kiss of Silver, I'm assuming.
You still can. I'll give the guy some cover because Marcel's right in front of him, basically.
Okay, I'm just trying to decide maybe if... Is there any sort of advantage I get from attacking this armor now that I'm behind it?
There's no flanking by natural things. However, it is engaged with the Earth Elemental Spirit, so you would still potentially get sneak attack.
Okay.
But you wouldn't have advantage.
I'm going to go with that then, because I don't want to risk... Tarkhal doesn't want to risk hitting Marcel.
Okay, sure. Yeah, you can go for the armor.
So I roll a 7 + 8, 15.
15 is not enough. The thick armor, this full plate armor, the Kiss of Silver just bounces off of it and snaps back into your hand. But sadly, this thing is, tough. You can see it's very hard to get leverage against it. A full suit of armor and a shield, all made of metal.
Tarkhal's very sad. His dagger seems to be doing nothing in this fight, and he's going to end his turn.
Okay, Azara Mithras.
So recognizing the runes on this magic boy, seeing that he is very magical, realizing that probably this can't be happening without somebody pulling the strings, and knowing that Marcel ran, Azara will do the same.
Okay.
I forgot I have another Misty Step because of Fey teleportation, which is dope. How far away am I?
So you are 60 feet from the end of the corridor. So you're about 45 feet to the Earth Elemental and the armor, and then 15 feet after that. So yeah, you'd have to move 30 feet,
and
Misty
then
Step 30 feet, and
Yeah.
then you'd be at the end of the corridor, yes.
So I'm going to do exactly that.
Okay.
I'm going to, but before I go, I'm going to turn to Agnis and say, if we can get past this suit of armor, throw up a wall of fire, buy us time. And then I'm going to Misty Step and then start sprinting. And then I'm also going to, like, I guess telepathically communicate with my dragon boy, like keep him occupied. Can we communicate
I mean, it's under your
telepathically?
rod. Yeah, you can, well, it's also, you can just shout an order, like keep fighting the thing or something
so
like
I'll
that.
say
Yeah,
fight
for
to
sure.
the death as I as I
And
bam.
the Earth Elemental, you just hear this like,
My dragon, he's so cool.
yeah, this kind of dragon warrior of Earth just
Hell yeah.
clashing with this knight of steel. Very, very anime. I love it.
It's very anime.
Yeah, I love it. Big pog.
Big-
So yeah, you arrive at the end of the corridor. You see the same thing before you. Marcel, sword out, engaging this mage. Yeah, you can identify as well that he clearly has magical protections on him.
on him as well. And you said this brain. Is it?
It's very dead. It's like
Oh,
decomposed.
it's already-
like,
it's already been, like,
you
the
can see
spell has
chunks of it
happened.
have been, chunks of it have been carved out. You can see it's like turned gray. It no longer
Right.
seems to be living.
Right. Now, he may have magical protections, but Azara does not give a solitary fuck. So I'm going
Just
to
remember,
cast.
you cast a bonus action spell this turn. So you can only cast a cantrip. Misty Step is a bonus action.
You're right. That
I
is
am right.
still fine because I can still cast Word of Radiance at him from afar.
Word of
That
Radiance
is
is the one that's 5 feet around
5
you, I
feet.
think.
You're right. I can still cast.
We'll get one of them. One of them I'm sure you can cast.
I can cast Toll of the Dead, but he's not hurt, so that's not as fun.
Nope.
What about I'll lightning lure him. I'll try and keep his arms down.
What's the range on Lightning Lure?
15 feet? How far is he?
He's 30 feet from the end of the corridor.
Fine. Toll of the Dead it is. God damn it.
What do I do? Saving throw?
Wisdom saving throw of 15. But he's probably super freaking smart because he's an asshole mage.
Wisdom
Wait, I
saving
take it back. Firebolt. I'm firebolting his ass.
Okay.
I forgot I had
roll a
that.
fireball for me, please.
Yes. I'm already mad at this man and I don't even know him. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 22 to hit.
Okay, I'm going to roll to see something here. So as you as the firebolt whooshes past, these kind of illusory duplicates, they all shift and change position. The firebolt hits one of them, it erupts in flames, but doesn't cause any harm to him. There are only 2 duplicates remaining.
As a free action, Azara curses him out in Draconic
face,
a little bit. Azara just curses him out a little bit in Draconic, and that's the end of my turn.
Marcel, your turn.
Okay. So I'm up in his face.
You are, yeah.
My sword's out. So if I could, I'll just like hold it, runes start to glow. And I just want to say, fix him.
Okay. Oh, interesting. Okay. Okay, there is a moment. He raises his hands. He looks at you. The fireball kind of launches from her direction, things like that. He looks at the sword, and there is a kind of look of like interest, like a kind of look of recognition. He raises up a hand, and you see it begin to crackle with kind of energy. Tell your allies to stand down. We may speak. But tell your allies to cease their hostilities immediately. Now.
If your forces will do the same.
I will call off the armor when your forces stand down. If you wish the aid of the Scions, I thought you were here to attack us.
Say, that was the backup plan. But I'll convey to anyone who can hear me to hold off.
If you yell stand down, I think we'd all hear it probably.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And you see like just the look of waiting, like a look of this mage is waiting to see what everyone does. Cast your weapons down. Lower your hands. What do you guys do?
I'll put my rinky dagger on the floor.
Okay.
I'll stow my bow, and Candor will land on my shoulder.
Dismiss the spirit.
I have it fly away.
You see a head tilt of please. And this one, the war wizard. Drop your staff.
He hasn't seen my my elemental, right?
There is the sound of combat coming from back there, where the armor and the spirit are fighting to the death. So.
Oh, well,
nothing.
If he can't see that, then he can't see me either. Because I'm on the other side.
That's true, actually. Yeah, you were still on the other side. So, okay, so Agnis, he doesn't say about the fire spirit, and he doesn't see your bow and things like that.
But does he know that there's a?
I mean, he can hear something.
Oh, okay.
So I guess he's just like, whatever it is fighting our servant, end it now.
Azara will just telepathically tell it to stop fighting, but won't unsummon it.
Okay, he seems to like almost tilt his head.
Uh-huh.
And then you hear the suit of armor stand down as well. It stops fighting. Still stands at the ready, but it's not actively combat.
Same with Draggy Boy. And then
all right. Well, in this case, we'll pause initiative. The figure looks in Marcel's direction. I recognize this weapon. You're one of the escapees from the temple.
That doesn't warrant a response.
You asked me to fix him. That is an interesting concept. You will need to speak with the High Sister. She runs things here.
And where is she?
Below. But I will not take attackers. if you are truly here as you wish to seek to undo our great work, perhaps the High Sister and Lord Asharian may be interested in such an endeavor, but I make no guarantees of it. But if you are willing to parlay, an agreement perhaps can be reached. We have no wish for violence, just to continue our research. When we heard the explosion, I thought that perhaps the Knights of Arabelle had come and discovered us. We thought that we were under attack.
This entire place is rather threatening. We were defending ourselves.
We left guards. We knew our mercenaries had informed us that units of knights had arrived. And we expected some sort of battle and siege. Defenses were placed. This setting is perhaps a little intimidating. Still.
Just really quick above board. The Scions, as far as we know, haven't done anything deliberately against Eveningstar. They just kind of sent that hit out on me, and
I think so. Yeah,
we are actually only here because I asked them.
No, you've not heard of them. You've not heard of them being involved with Eveningstar specifically. No, they put a hit out on you, or at least it. Was it? You're not even sure if they were trying to kill you or try to capture you or whatever. It descended into an attempt to kill you for certain, but yeah.
But those are
you
definitely
don't know of anything.
Cormyrean people they're experimenting on.
Oh, very much.
Gotcha.
Yes. Oh, yes. So they were definitely villagers from some place.
Probably not there
townsfolk
voluntarily.
No. I mean, well, you don't know. Like,
right.
At the end of the day, maybe they did volunteer. You don't suspect that any volunteers expected what would happen to them. I'll put it that way.
Right.
You can see this guy is still heavily on edge. He steps back carefully away from Marcel, out of sword range, keeping his guard up. You hear armored footsteps coming from behind you. Agnis, you see the suit of armor turns around and begins making its way back. Unless you guys do anything, the armor returns to this mage's side. And he looks at it and nods.
I'm going to try to stealth, because if the mage doesn't know that I was there, that would probably be better. So I'm going to, like, Candor can go under my cloak.
Your cloak, yeah?
Yeah, and then I'll just kind of, like, stealth along the side of the tunnel.
Sure. Perfect. Okay. Yeah.
And I roll a 20 for stealth. Dirty 20.
Okay. Yeah, he doesn't seem to pick up when you're there, Agnis.
I'm just gonna go to, like, the mouth of the tunnel and
just kind of follow him behind. The mage gestures, and he says, "This way. We will need to take. I assume that you will need to drop down to the floor below. Use this tube, so you do not end up in the resting pool of the Elder Brain." Or what is left of it. And
do I get any kind of sense that he's trying to pull a fast one, or does this seem...
Make an insight check.
Cool. 17.
He's very cautious. Looking around, yes, he seems to be a mage. He has this suit of armor. You clearly have him outnumbered for the time being. Like, you, Tarkhal, Azara, and the Earth Spirit that he's aware of. He is outnumbered 2-1 still. He's being cautious. You can see that, you don't get the sense that he is trying to set you up for a trap necessarily. Whether or not they're going to try and do anything later down the road, that's going to be difficult to tell from just reading his body language. But he seems to just be protecting himself at the moment. He gestures forward and points to one of these holes in the floor in the far corner of the room. Drop down there to the floor below.
Okay.
Take the blade with you. I will take you to speak with the High Sister. She will determine what we are to do with you.
Cool.
He just gestures. So do you guys go? Do you do what he says?
I'll follow Marcel. As he drops, I drop.
Okay, Azara.
Is it at all possible for me to pass without trace behind them if I cast the spell?
If you cast it on yourself, casting it on them, it will become very clear that there's somebody else here.
No, I'm going to just cast it on myself.
Sure, I'd say that like if you linger back, like if you wait for them all to go, and you like as like Agnes, you're kind of peeking through, you can see and hear him saying drop down into the hole, you know, and then looks like he's gonna follow after them. So you could probably like when he drops, cast the spell on yourself and then sneak after.
Okay, I'm casting that and I'm just tiptoeing along behind them.
Okay, sure. The hole, by the way, that he points you over to, Marcel, when you look down it looks like it's a good sort of like, you know, maybe 20 feet drop down into this floor below. You can see the other pits in this room, the other holes in this room lead into a massive kind of pool of this kind of thick gel purple liquid. This hole, however, lands on a dry corridor that's adjacent to the pool.
Okay, before I jump in, I want to just turn back and talk to my party real quick.
Yeah, sure. He is like standing a good 20 feet away from you guys and has like all of you in his line of sight. Like he's keeping all of you in his vision.
I'll just say, my mic doesn't want to pick me up. I'll just say, you've all already done more than you owe me. This has become a mission for me that doesn't benefit you. If you wish to not proceed any further, then I won't make you. And if I get out of this, or whatever happens, if I come out alive, I will forever be in your debt.
Well, then I suppose we have to make sure you come out alive.
Think that I'm going to lose my one and only confidant in this insane turmoil that we're going through, then you're crazy. So let's go.
Agnes will pat him on the shoulder.
You can't. You're stealth and hiding away.
Agnes. I can't.
You were keeping yourself hidden.
A veil of shadows and silence radiates from you, masking you and your companions from detection for the duration.
It's not invisibility. It hides your tracks and helps you stay hidden, but it doesn't make you invisible.
Right.
It's
You're
not
right.
The invisibility spell, sadly.
So I'm just still lurking.
You're like in a corridor behind, like listening in, like peering around the thing. Like shadows are helping hide you. Like the shadows of the corridor shift to keep you obscured, but you couldn't move out into an open room. He'd still see you.
Oh, well, that was the point of Pass Without Traces. I was trying to get to the hole.
Right. So you'll be able to basically pass without a trace means you don't leave tracks and it makes you easier to stealth, but it's not invisibility. It doesn't make you invisible to see. So you can make stealth checks easier. So like when they go ahead, you can still stealth. Yes. But if you move out to like pat Marcel on the shoulder or move into the middle of the room, they're still going to see you, right? Like they're still going to be able to see you easily.
So I don't do that. I'm just, I would like to try to stealth my way into the room. Or be ready to run to the hole.
Yeah, you are as close as you can possibly get if something happens, but you have no way of reaching the party.
That's okay.
It's like a gap between you now. So.
Yeah, that's fine.
Sure. Okay. Marcel?
All right, I guess we're going in.
Okay. If you lower yourself, you might be able to drop without taking too much fall damage. So just give me like an athletics check.
15,
yeah. So you kind of have to like lower yourself, you hang off the edge and then you drop. And it's like you kind of take a little bit. You'd probably take like a D6 of damage here. You take like 3 points of damage as you kind of have a hard landing as you fall. But yeah, you drop into this corridor.
Hero landing?
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely, of course.
I'm at such low HP that I like land and the shock goes through my knees. I'm just like, ow.
The corridor, Marcel, curves around the edges of this pool, this thick purple pool. It heads off to the left and right. You hear a voice from above, remain there until we follow. And then he waits for Tarkhal and Azara to drop down first.
I'll drop down next now that I don't see Marcel. I'm not doing the same thing where I follow too close behind any sort of tunnels or holes anymore.
Okay.
So,
all right.
Acrobatics.
Yep.
I rolled a 1. So
okay, you take 5 points of bludgeoning damage as your fall is far less gracious than Marcel's. You kind of like twist your ankle a little bit as you land.
My turn, I guess.
He nods.
Azara will just kind of like, she'll say nothing to him, but kind of like flare her magic a little bit in like a I'm fucking watching you type of
there's no need for the theatrics.
There's always
Magister.
need for theatrics. And then she'll drop down.
Sure.
Acrobatics
or athletics?
Oh, acrobat. 6.
It's 4 points of damage as you land next to them as well.
She takes it with grace.
After that, the large suit of armor steps up and just drops, just lands beside you guys.
Well, if the armor's coming, can the dragon come too?
Yeah, if you want to.
He's coming.
Sure. Again, he waits for all of you guys to move up, and then eventually the wizard steps up and then just floats down. He just floats down. He points further down the corridor to your right-hand side. That way. Make no sudden movements.
As soon as it seems like he won't notice, I want to go down too.
Yeah, sure. You make it with the pass without trace in your previous stealth roll. You make it without problem. Drop down the hole. You'll need to make an acrobatics or athletics check as well, Agnis.
I rolled a 1.
Oh no.
4 points of damage as you slam down into the ground. When you land, Agnis, there is a kind of like, he turns his head, but you've already pressed yourself. In fact, actually, no, here's an interesting question. So you land, there's clearly a noise. He turns around. What do you do? Like, where do you want to hide? You can see the pool next to you of this like thick goo, or you could try and dash into it. Maybe looks like there's a couple of side chambers that you could make a run for, but you don't know what's in them.
Side chamber. I don't want any goo.
Okay. You dash over to the side chamber, kind of holding your breath, hoping that nobody's inside. You emerge into, similar to the rooms that were above, with the kind of cocoons, the metal cocoons. You find another one of those. This one, however, has been clearly furnished with more human properties. There are pillows and blankets stuffed into the cocoon to make it into a traditional bed. There is a desk upon which is a very ornate-looking spellbook. It looks like a wizard's spellbook.
Is it heavy?
It's as heavy as a thick tome would be.
Could I put it in my bag?
Sure. Yeah. You grab it and stuff it in the bag.
Just gonna yoink it while I'm in here, and then just very quickly. I don't want to stay in here. I'm just gonna.
Yeah, you're
wait
just waiting while he's
clear.
like looking around, and then as soon as he's emerged, you come back out. When you do come back out, as the others are being led down the corridor, the pool of liquid, there's these big, like where you've landed, it's kind of like a basin. You can look into it. At the very far end, about 30 feet from where you currently are, at the far end of it, it looks like it would come up to your waist if you waded into it. There is a glimmering shape, and with your high perception and your elven eyes, your elf eyes, it appears to be the form. It's like a bow shape, and it is glowing. There's like a silvery light, and it's glowing within the pool itself. Meanwhile, Tarkhal, Azara, and Marcel are led down this corridor. You are led to another one of these large egg-shaped rooms. The mage behind you calls out as you're moving. Hi, sister. Prepare yourself. There are some individuals that you must speak with. And you hear a voice. Brother Kale, are these our intruders? They surrendered. Not quite, high sister. They have something that I felt it best you investigated. As there's this awkward silence. The room you emerge in is another one of these egg-shaped rooms, but this one is one of the most grotesque you've seen so far. There are more of these kind of pods scattered around the room, some of them up high, some of them down low. And in each of them is a pulsating brain, just bloop, 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 bloop. There are all these kind of like tentacly, intestinal kind of tubes and pipes that kind of get all of these pods down into a central chamber where there's almost this high-backed chair with a kind of cap made of bone set into it, kind of like a Cerebro from X-Men kind of vibe. Sat in the chair, she doesn't have the cap on, she's just kind of sat in the chair, is a red-skinned tiefling. Her horns are quite large and they curl inwards at the tips, kind of coming out quite wide and curling in. She's dressed in the white robes with golden jewelry, similar in style to the Scion's kind of collar. And on the ground in front of her are 4 brains with little arms and legs. They appear to have all been rotten and decayed and are now animated by some sort of necromancy. But they are kind of scurrying around like little pets around the chair and her feet. And her black eyes stare out as you kind of enter the chamber.
They're pomebranians.
Stop this.
Pomebranians.
Stop it.
That is the name I will be using for them
No.
when I write this up. Wonderful.
It's like
Thank
the
you,
Queen
Anna.
and Bridgerton with brains.
Scurrying around.
I want to vomit.
You're welcome
Wow.
to. I understand.
How intriguing. I recognize you, boy. I was there when the process was conducted, when you made your escape attempt. How interesting that you found your way back to us. Asharian thought that we would never find you again. So?
You're just glaring. So I would recognize.
You didn't see this woman. Like,
okay.
She's talking as if she recognizes you, but you didn't see her. You don't recognize her at all, but she seems to know you.
Years ago, you lied and took advantage of the faith of a young boy.
That would be Lord Asharian's specialty, my dear. I am not one for manipulations. I find it a waste of my valuable time. I prefer to take what I need. He prefers to sell the dream. The majesty makes it all sound so noble, what we're doing. I can understand your frustrations at such a man. But you have come with a purpose. Let us not waste any more time on tragic tales and stories. I have seen far too many in my time. Why? Why here? Have you come to surrender? Have you come to realize the value of the Netherese magic that we attempted to unlock?
I came to take vengeance. I wanted nothing more than to see you all die.
Oh. And you can see there is almost a grin, but there is also black kind of energy begins coalescing at her fingertips, ready for some sort of attack. Wow.
But that boy you took advantage of, the one you manipulated, still has more compassion than I ever could. He didn't want me to take that. All we want is to try and undo what you've done. And I'll hold out the sword.
Yeah. Okay.
Just bring him back as to how he was. And whatever it is you're doing down here, it doesn't concern me at the moment.
Wow. How very intriguing. You know, yours and your brother's escape cost us years of research. There was one other, a suit of armor that we constructed from a young girl and her father. You were the closest we came to unlocking the secrets of the Netherese magic. When we lost you, well, I was sent to decrepit ruins and disgusting lairs like this one to try and recount whatever we could find. To expect you to come back willingly. Our purpose was never to, we would not normally be concerned with the process of reversing what we did, but I think that there is value in it. I think that there is great value in understanding how to do something and how it is undone. What if our enemies were to discover the magic we seek to unlock? Having a way to undo it would be valuable to us. I think that I can help. I believe that given time and resources and study of you and your brother, we can unlock this. I could revert him. Whether we find some young villager to take his physical form's place or a new body is constructed, such things are possible to those with the right means. It is possible. But there would be a matter of payment. And I'm not interested in gold or resources or some such things. What I need are capable individuals. You've managed to reach this far. If you are so concerned with unlocking your brother's, reversing his current situation, which I may point out some would find favorable, immortality, even trapped in a form, is still immortality. Still, you and the sword shall come with me. We will return to Lord Asharian, and we will undo this.
I would like to talk to my sword, please.
You may. Oliver, you don't have to do this. This is giving up too much.
You were already born robbed of a good life. This might be the only chance you have at one.
But working, she wants you to go back with them, the ones that we escaped from. We've got allies. We have a home. We have everything we could need. You can't do this. You can't.
Kind of like digest that for a second. Like, well then, at this point, given where we are, what exactly do we do now?
I don't know. As much as I want to have a body to live again, to do everything, I feel that this price may be too high, but I can't make that decision, brother. This is your life. It would be your life throwing away. I can't exist without you. This is in your hands, as am I, as I've always been. Do you really want to condemn yourself to work or to go with the very people that did this to us and give up everything we have in Eveningstar for the chance that I might have a body again?
I'll ask her.
Sure.
So, if you do your research and we successfully revert this, what then?
An interesting question. I suspect you fear that I would keep you as some sort of experiment or some such. The fact is that the knowledge of the Scions would greatly benefit from studying the vessel and yourself. The two are connected after all. Your situation is of value to us. We would conduct our research, reverse it if possible. And then I think perhaps I will speak with Lord Asharian. I would hope that perhaps, given time, you may come to understand our work, why it is so important, but I fear that perhaps you may be a bit too driven by your hatred and past experiences to look past it all. But perhaps an arrangement can be made. Perhaps if you were to leave Cormyr, go off to some city somewhere far in the world with you and your brother, not meddle in our affairs, we could make such an arrangement. I do not wish to waste my brothers and sisters' lives in a pointless battle here with you and your nobles and war wizard, nor do I wish to lose the research we have performed already, the great success we have had with the vessel. It would be a waste. I would much rather reach agreeable terms.
I'll turn to Tarkhal and Azara, and I'll say, I very much appreciate what it is you and what Eveningstar has done for me. But before any of this, my life, my only purpose, my only drive was my family. I fear this is something I must do.
Can we come with you?
I don't know how long this will be. I don't know what it will entail. My ledger's read as it is. Whatever it is they'll have me do, I doubt it'll be of much consequence to what I've done. But you have too much to get back to. The people are important to you, and they rely on you. And this isn't your fight, it's mine.
Agnis is going to just kind of like materialize out of the shadows.
Like a mage, the other mage, the male mage turns around, lightning in hands, the armored suit turns around, like ready for blows. But the tiefling woman holds up her hand. Still your hand, Kale. Let us allow them to speak.
Having heard all this, Agnis is just going to put her hand on his shoulder and say, you have already done immeasurable service to Eveningstar. Family is most important. And she'll kind of ashamedly look at Tarkhal and say, if you ever have need of our help, you know where to find us. Godspeed. And kind of step back.
Azara will kind of step forward and say, look, I'm not going to sugarcoat things. We haven't seen eye to eye on every moment in our history. However, I would greatly regret if I never saw you again and you went on thinking that you are some sort of doomed, broken man. You are, and I can't believe I'm saying this, one of the most honorable men I've had the pleasure to work with. And I only hope that you are not taking this on as some sort of self-punishment, that you are not taking this on because you see yourself as unfixable, unbreakable, and that your life means any less than, and she kind of nods to the sword. What I'm assuming, what I've gathered is your brother here, which I am deeply sorry for. But the world would shine less without you in it, Marcel. And I just hope that whatever decision you are planning to make, whether you've made your mind up already or you're still thinking, somewhere inside your heart, you know this. And she just kind of trails off.
Tarkhal will just outreach a hand, assuming Marcel will take it, kind of like in the brotherly bond type of way. And then once we're locked, Tarkhal's gonna pull you in for like a bro hug. But he's gonna whisper, once your business is finished, you can't let them live. This can't continue.
Well, you can't see, but he kind of smirks under his mask and says, "That'll be a bridge I burn when I get to it."
And Tarkhal will nod and then just step back. Pat on the back. I'm sure we pat each other like bros do.
Yeah.
Bro pat.
Bro pat.
As you separate, it's not like a laugh, but you can almost hear the smile. The tiefling woman waves her hand, and the mage in the suit of armor part to the sides of the corridor. The rest of you will find your return to the surface unimpeded. We will leave this place within the next 24 hours to a place that you will not be able to find us again. Oliver, I believe, here, will remain with me, as will the blade. And we will go to new beginnings, to finish what was started, and to develop it and to undo it, as I have agreed. I swear this upon the shattered light, and my name is High Sister. Come, boy. If your sentimental moment is over, stand here with me and allow your friends to return to their world.
Before we leave, Azara will just send a quick message to Marcel, knowing that just in case they're all magical and they can hear, it's nothing nefarious, and she'll just say, "We'll wait for you. We'll never stop looking for you. If you need us, I hope you'll contact us." And there will be a small silence, and she'll say, "Sarah Lee and I will continue our research." And then she'll just leave it at that.
Do Marcel.
Marcel starts walking toward her. Realizing he doesn't need it, he pulls down the mask.
See this. For Agnis and Azara, it'd be the first time seeing this terrible scar all the way up the side of his face, kind of leaving all the teeth and jaw exposed, frightening in the dark shadows of this alien world.
Just look back and say, "Thank you."
Yeah. There is a kind of moment where the rest of you are expected to leave. Is parted. You do see the mage goes over to the hole that you guys came down from, with a wave of his hand, a kind of shimmering kind of field of force appears, like a kind of platform to stand on. He gestures for you to stand on it.
Agnis has kind of a tear in her eye, and she's trying to turn and leave and look like super chill, but she's like, "It is honorable what you're doing. I hope you might let us know when you've completed your mission."
I'll try my best.
She nods, gets on the platform.
Okay. Azara, Tarkhal.
Azara will get on the platform.
Yeah, Tarkhal will just give Marcel's like a smirk, a little smile, but his brow is a little furrowed, a little sad. He'll get on the platform.
We'll step on it. The platform begins rising, and that image of Marcel and that begins fading away as you return to this kind of gross brain room. The trail of combat and destruction that you'd left behind, returning you back to the surface. And I think that as we end things, we see this tiefling woman, High Sister Triumph, not knowing her name. She just turns to Marcel, looks up at this kind of disfigurement, and she smiles, like a very genuine, pleasing smile. What a handsome young man. We're going to do such wonderful things together. And that is where we end the episode. And yep. And we'll play again next week.
Wow.
Well, that went a different route than expected. Thanks for the curveball, Nate.
Oh, that wasn't planned?
Well, some things were planned. Certainly, I expected perhaps more of a fight through the dungeon I carefully played out and planned out and mapped with the other 4 encounters that were potentially there. But still, never mind. Shall we do some shout outs and then wrap the episode up?
After the stream, Mark takes all these papers and washes them up and throws them in the trash.
Lights them on fire.
Yeah, let's. So I won't. The only thing I was going to reveal is obviously some people in chat picked up on it. But yeah, that was like an old Mind Flayer lair that you guys were going through, which
definitely seemed like a Mind Flayer lair.
Yeah,
Cool.
Yeah.
So it was. When you guys were saying like, is it the inside of a dragon? I was just like, oh, that's a cool idea. It's not that, but it's a cool idea. But yeah, and then Nate, I mean, amazing, fantastic little bit of ending there, mate. Like, you know, I know you've got some plans, but really well done.
That was. I mean, he had a mission since session 1, and this was the best bet.
It was the best way to get what he wanted, right? This was what his character wanted. And I know a lot of people, you know, I think this is a good example of sometimes character stories end when the campaign doesn't. Sometimes a character gets their goal, they reach what they want, and there's not a reason for them to keep adventuring. And that's okay for the character to depart. And to make it clear, Nate's not leaving the show, are you? You're sticking around. You got a new character you're going to come in and play.
Whoa, what?
Yeah. So,
Cool.
Nate's sticking around. He's got a new character, but this was Marcel's ending. This was
cool.
an ending point for Marcel as a character. But yeah, so excellent stuff. Great work, everyone. Great session.
Wow.
Great little session.
I almost cried. I was close.
One day.
I tried
didn't
not
expect to be that like broken up about.
I know.
Old Marcel. Grumpy.
I'm pretty
Marcel.
pissed. I'm not gonna lie, but
Yeah.
shout outs. Cool. Let's do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Shady, why don't you go first?
Shady,
Sure.
why don't you
Hey
go
guys,
first?
I'm
Yeah.
ShadyPenguinn, and I'm fucking pissed. No, you guys can find me on Twitter. You can go to youtube.com/shadycollects. I open up cards there, but if you're looking for more D&D based stuff, Thursday nights, the World of Io has just returned that I'm on, specifically the Astral Academy. That'll be Thursday nights, every single Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern on twitch.tv/BrettUltimus. Just follow me on Twitter. I tweet it out whenever we go live. With that, we're popcorning, so I'm going to tag Mica.
Hi, I'm Mica Burton. You can find me on the internet at Mica Burton. If you guys are sub to Critical Role, you can go watch the VOD of my narrative telephone. They titled it Mica Burton Murders the Cast of Critical Role, so it was pretty savage. If not, I'm sure it comes on YouTube on like Thursday or something. I don't know. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have going for me right now. I'm also opening Pokemon cards, but I don't stream. I just keep them. I'm going to tag Anna.
Well, I don't keep Pokemon cards. I just hoard everybody's codes after they open their Pokemon cards and play TCG online obsessively, which I might do tonight. I've been on stream a lot today, so I might be too tired. We'll see. But throughout this week, keep an eye on my channel /AnnaProsser. Click the little bell. You can get notified when I go live, gamers. It'll be great. You can also find me everywhere at Anna Prosser. My next show this week will be on Friday, where we will do Extra Brains with DJ Weeknight. And this week's brainstorms are going to be a doozy. We're going to talk about whether or not you should talk politics on streams and when you know it's time to end a friendship. It's going to be juicy.
Juicy juice. Love it.
Dang.
I choose Nate.
Hello. I currently don't have anything to shout out. I am working on stuff, but nothing yet. So I guess if you're into Pokemon card stuff, follow me at NateTCG on Instagram. You can see better pictures of the
wall,
the investments I have made. And I'll tag Mark.
Perfect. Yeah, thanks. So yeah, you can check more of me DMing on my show, High Rollers D&D. We've been doing it for 5 years. It was 5 years on Sunday we've been doing High Rollers.
Wow.
time's flown. But yeah, we're still going on with our second campaign, Erois. That's every Sunday at 5 p.m. UK time. Hopefully getting back into running our Curse of Strahd campaign this week as well, which we've been doing as a little bonus campaign. But you can also check out my own stream. I've been streaming a ton more on my own Twitch channel, which is Sherlock_Hulmes. I'm actually going to be live again in 8-9 hours playing some Among Us with some friends and then playing Stardew Valley, so you can come check that out. And then yeah, YouTube channel and Candlekeep Mysteries. I've got to buy that book because I wrote an adventure for it, and I can't talk about it yet because I've not been given the go ahead. So yay, soon. And that's it. Thanks for watching Knights of Eveningstar. We'll be back, brand new character. Yeah, brand new plotline. I think we'll basically have the guys return to the surface, maybe a little bit of story stuff up there, and then back to Eveningstar to crack on with Eveningstar stuff. So yeah, wild times. All right, thanks everybody. Take care. Enjoy what's next on the D&D show, and then we'll see you next week. Bye.